Nice to see you again.
So did you see The King's Jester?
I saw the part where he talks about me.
I mean, Hasan really looked broken because,
I don't know. I mean, I'm not the first one. Look at Hrithik Roshan, There are people in Bollywood who have been ruining the standard for decades. I've been part of stuff where I've just acted in it, and then I saw the finished product, and I was like, I know that there's a better movie that we shot. I want to be victims of my mistakes, not victims of someone else's mistakes. Thank you. Very nice talking to you again.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rudrani, and welcome to Speak Easy. My guest today is extremely talented, and he's also someone who's making South Asians so proud, breaking stereotypes, and always out there doing new things. And that's the way it should be. I'm talking about the wonderful and talented Kumail Nanjiani. Hello, Kumail. How you been doing?
I'm good. How are you?
You know what? Like I told you, not too bad today. I'm going to do this. We meet again.
Yeah, nice to see you again.
I think every time I'm talking to you, you're doing something completely diverse, and that's exactly what you wanted to do, as you mentioned earlier. But you were reluctant about playing this character because this is something that you've never gone, like slightly darker, right? Tell me about that reluctance and, of course, what pushed you to, again, do it finally.
Yeah, so this project came to me as a movie back in 2017. It was Rob Siegel, the creator of the show, wrote a movie, and he asked me to be in it, and I read it. And I think I loved the script. I was intimidated to do it because I'd never played a character like this, as you said. I didn't know how to play someone who was so different from me. I'd just come off The Big Sick, a movie where I literally play a version of myself, and everything I've done has so much of me in it. And then suddenly this was a character who I thought was so different from me. I really didn't know how to play someone so dark, And then it came back to me. Rob contacted me again as a miniseries, and I was still a little hesitant. I was still a little nervous. I kept having conversations with him about it. And on the fourth conversation or something we had, he was like, I'm just going to tell you what happens in the whole series. And he talked me through episode by episode what happens in it. And by the end of that hour, I was like, I have to do this. I know I'm scared and intimidated, but that doesn't matter because I have no choice anymore. I have to do this show, and I have to figure out how to do this. And the fact that he trusted me to be able to do it really, really gave me the confidence to do it, I said yes, and then they got a writer's room and started writing, and we started shooting not too long after that. So it was very quick.
You've been an executive producer as well, and you're producing more stuff. Do you think that it really has kind of given you the power to sort of change things? Because, as a producer, you do get to change narrative. You do get to make and do more films that you want to do. Do you think that has made a difference?
It makes all the difference. I've been part of stuff where I've just acted in it, and then I saw the finished product, and I was like, I know that there's a better movie that we shot, I know there's something better in there. And I'm not saying that being involved in them would have made those better. It would have just been my mistakes. I want to be victims of my mistakes, not victims of someone else's mistakes. So with this show, being an executive producer with Emily, my wife, was great because we got to pick the writer's room, the producers, we got to pick the directors, we got to do the casting, pick the right actors. And then I got to be involved in the edit, which to me it's my favorite part of the process, and it's such an important part of the process. And Jenny and Rob were the ones who were really running the edit, and they're fantastic, but it was great to be able to have input because I remember the scenes, I remember if I watch a scene and I'm like, oh, I remember what it felt like to shoot this scene, and that feeling is not in this version right now. So let's keep working on it. I remember when that person said this thing, how it made me feel. I remember that performance. I remember all the takes. So it's very satisfying for me to go through and try and recreate exactly how it felt to shoot that scene, because I think that's a very tricky thing.
So did you see The King's Jester?
I saw the part where he talks about me. Yes.
Do you agree with him? Have you ruined it for all South Asians by that transformation, Kumail? Have you really risen the standard that, Hasan really looked broken because,
I don't know. I'm not the first one. Look at Hrithik Roshan, There are people in Bollywood who have been ruining the standard for decades. Amir Khan, all these guys are like specimens. So I was very flattered, and I thought that was very funny that he did that. But I'm not the first one to do it. There's a long line of people ruining things for us.
I think because you're somebody who is a comedian and he did it, I think that is more painful for Hasan. Hasan was like, he was just the funny guy, now he's hot.
Yeah, I was very flattered. I thought that was very funny.
And then, of course, I feel there's a scene with Otis where you talk about how he can't be he can't be on the calendar because he's black and white women will not be comfortable about it. And he talks about he tries to sort of make him understand by saying, even I go through racism like you do, but this is just business. I think it's a very interesting scene. Sometimes I feel like a lot of us who are probably South Asians or otherwise are also extremely embroiled in that same situation, and we fail to see somebody else's situation. What do you think about that, Kumail? Very interesting scene.
I thought that was very interesting. I think, unfortunately, racism is not just limited to white people. I think in American pop culture, we see there's this sense that only white people can be racist. And I think that's not true. I think, unfortunately, specifically, anti-black racism is a part of a lot of different kinds of people. So to me, it was interesting to explore that a little bit. It's something that you never see on American TV. And then Steve, in a later episode, kind of blames American society. He says, it's not my fault that I'm just following the rules you laid down. But I think that's a way of shirking responsibility. I think it's interesting that Steve would not have hired someone who looked like himself for his dance troupe. I think that there's a lot of interesting, his own relationship with his race and his relationship with other races, I think it's a really important thing. And I think anti-black racism, unfortunately, is quite common.
Well, thank you so much. You clearly are the OGs before Magic Mike became Magic Mike.
Yes, that's right. They stood on our shoulders.
Well, I'm sure they'll have a lot to say as well, but looks like a really, really cool show. Now, Kumail, I think you've done a great job. So looking forward to more stuff coming from you.
Thank you. Very nice talking to you again. Feel better.
Thanks so much. I know, thank you so much. I am actually. Thank you. Okay. All right, bye.
Bye.
Send you a lot of love.
Get a chance to feature on Zoom TV. Ho ja Zoomify.